Welcome into the Heat Report. I am Nic Rohloff, and on today's show, we are talking some Goran Dragic news, and then we will answer some of your questions at the back half of today's show. But this is why you subscribe to the Heat Report, even when I'm off on a Sunday. I want to make sure you guys are informed on the latest surrounding your Miami Heat and anything around the NBA in reality. So make sure you hit that sub button. We're about 440 subscribers away from 5,000, a huge milestone at the channel, so I appreciate anyone who hits that sub button and joins the rocket ship of the Heat Report. Now, to start off with Goran Dragic here, he actually released this quote through his agent a couple days ago, and this is what he had to say. "The main desire is to return to Miami. Everyone's waiting for Damian Lillard. When this is known, the movement for the other players will open. We are in talks with a few clubs, but much more will be known in a few days when the news will be released. You will see." So this is intriguing for a couple reasons, in my opinion. One, Dragic's basically saying he wants to return to Miami, which it makes sense. He was loved in Miami by the fans. He played very well for the Heat. I mean, he was part of that 2020 bubble run to get to the NBA Finals where he was averaging 20 points per game and was cooking fools on the Celtics and the Bucks and the Pacers. I mean, he was on fire. He was averaging 20 points per game in that playoff run, and I will go to my grave, and this might be a hot take, saying that if Goran Dragic doesn't hurt his foot and Bam Adebayo doesn't hurt his shoulder in Game 1 of the NBA Finals against the Lakers, I think the Heat were going to win that series. I truly do believe that because Dragic couldn't get stopped, and a fully healthy Bam would have been able to stay tight and close with Anthony Davis, and then obviously Jimmy Butler was playing at an all-world level. You can actually make the argument he outplayed LeBron James in that NBA Finals, and he was the best player in that 2020 NBA Finals. But back to Dragic. He also said that news will come out soon. You will see. So does Dragic know that a Heat Damian Lillard trade is close? Like, what does he mean you will see by the next couple of days when the news comes out? That's very intriguing to me because if Nostradamus Dragic over here calls that the Heat are trading for Damian Lillard in the near future, I mean, listen, I'd sign him back just for that. But talking about what Dragic did with Miami, he spent about 6-7 years here. It started in 2014, 2015 when the Heat traded for him, and then his final year was in 2020-21. So he was with the Heat for 391 games in his career, and throughout those seasons, he averaged 16 points per game, 5.2 assists, and 3.6 rebounds a night. Dragic was one of the better Heat players after the LeBron James, D. Wade, and Chris Bosh era. I mean, Dragic played with Bosh for a little bit there before Bosh got the blood clots, and then he teamed up with D. Wade when D. Wade in his final couple seasons before transitioning to with Jimmy and Bam in the first couple years of that build. But Dragic is a little bit older, so I don't know if it would be the best to re-sign him. But before I go more into Goran Dragic, I'll ask you guys, would you re-sign Goran Dragic as your backup point guard? Type Y for yes, type N for no. It's the pinned comment, so let me know down in the comment section. I probably would sign Goran Dragic, and the reason why I say this is because he knows how the Miami Heat culture is. He knows how to play in this offensive system. He's worked with Erik Spoelstra. He's worked with Bam Adebayo. He's worked with Jimmy Butler. So assuming that the Heat do trade for Damian Lillard, you're going to need a backup point guard, and I know Dragic isn't the most reliable one because he is so old and he's been dealing with injuries, and he actually had a surgery this past season during the year with the Milwaukee Bucks. So maybe that surgery will help him stay healthy, but I am concerned about Dragic being able to stay on the court, and your backup point guard is going to need to stay on the court because you can't have Damian Lillard play 48 minutes a game if he was on Miami, and then if Dame needs a couple days to rest because he is 33 years old himself. His birthday was literally yesterday, turning 33, so you're going to need a point guard that can be reliable. Is Dragic that guy? I am not sure, but his familiarity with the Miami Heat system, the culture, the way the organization acts and plays throughout the entire year, and then obviously the camaraderie with Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler is always welcome. And hell, even Josh Richardson returning. Dragic played with him too. So there would be a lot of familiar faces, and I think I could get down with that. But Dragic being that older type of guard is concerning to me because the Heat are going to need someone who is more reliable because Damian Lillard cannot have himself playing that long. All right, let's transition now to some of your guys' questions, and I want to start with JT the Fox, a real one who's been sharing most of our videos as well when we ask for it, so he answers the call. He answered the call with this question. Do you think we will be able to get more people on the Heat after we get Damian Lillard? And I think this is a great question because the answer is yes, right? Like, once Damian Lillard gets traded, hopefully to the Miami Heat in the next 2 or 3 weeks, the vet min market of free agents will move rather quickly because I truly do believe the free agents that are out there able to sign right now are mostly vet min guys. And if you're signing for the vet min, the main goal of doing that is to sign with a championship contender. So if a lot of people see that Damian Lillard is in Miami, he's playing for the Heat in the 305, they're going to want to go play in Miami with Dame, Jimmy, Bam, so they can go chase a ring. Guys like Christian Wood, right? I think Goran Dragic is another one. Guys that aren't going to get anything other than the vet min right now, so why wouldn't they hold out and sign with Miami once Damian Lillard's saga is completed? Now, even if Dame doesn't get traded to the Heat, and it's like death, like officially not going to Miami, then those vet min guys can go somewhere else. But right now it's in a holding pattern so they can see where Damian Lillard goes and see if it will be in Miami because a lot of people wouldn't mind playing the 305 with the weather, the culture, and potentially going to win a ring. All right, from Ken Up 4-0, he says, who are your people to step up this year for Miami? Any G Leaguers or role players you may think can have a Vincent-type season? And this is actually my favorite question on this mailbag because I like deep diving and talking some more hoops rather than just news and rumors with you guys. But there's been a couple people on two-way contracts for Miami, and that really intrigued me. And a familiar face, someone that's been playing in the G League that you saw last season on your Miami Heat, is Jamal Cain. He's a little raw. He doesn't have the best handle, but he's an uber athletic wing that can defend. If he improves his jump shot, he could be a 3-and-D wing for Miami off the bench who has that athletic ability. Honestly, wouldn't hate to compare him to Caleb Martin. He's not as tall and he's not as thick when it comes to muscle wise, so he wouldn't be able to play that 4 spot. He'd be more in that 2 or 3. But the way he moves, the way he is athletic, the way he just has a knack for making winning plays reminds me a lot of Caleb Martin. And I could see Jamal Cain potentially getting on this roster and making an impact to fill out this team, right? I've said this, when the Heat trade for Damian Lillard, it's going to gut their roster, and they're going to have to either make a lot of signings in the vet min or just make a lot of two-way contracts, standard contracts. Jamal Cain is one of those guys. Another name I'm going to mention is Jamaré Bouye, a small guard out of San Francisco, and he's been really impressing in the Summer League this year. His handle, he's really good at jumping the passing lanes, defending. He's a smaller guard in stature, but he plays larger for the fact that he's not afraid to attack the tin, attack the cup, and finish among the Giants and finish that 2K badge the Giant Slayers. Jamaré Bouye, I really like his athleticism. He's able to beat guys off the dribble fairly easily one-on-one, which means other guys are going to have to help. Bouye can kick it out. If he's your backup one to start the year, I don't think I'd be happy with that because I'd want someone more experienced. But Jamaré Bouye, as the 13th, 14th man on this roster, being the third option at point guard, getting some run when Damian Lillard sits down for a night, or if your backup point guard is injured for a night, I would actually be a big fan of having Jamaré Bouye in this rotation. So Cain and Bouye are two guys that I think are technically in the G League / Summer League for the Miami Heat right now that could make an impact this upcoming season. We also got a question from Maya's World. It says, do you think the Miami Heat will get Giannis Antetokounmpo, and also do you see the Miami Heat going to the NBA Finals? So I'll answer the second part of the question first. The Heat have been in the Finals 2 times in the last 4 years, ever since Jimmy Butler joined Miami. They've been in the Conference Finals 3 times in the last 4 years. So there is sustained success in the Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo era in Miami. If you acquire Damian Lillard, you have Jimmy, you have Bam, you have Dame, and you have Erik Spoelstra. Forget what that clown, that Paul Pierce is, saying that they wouldn't even make the playoffs or they'd be a first-round exit with or without Damian Lillard. He is an absolute bozo. Paul Pierce is just salty that he got ran through by the Miami Heat in the early 2010s, and he's just trying to get back at him right now by spewing some false narratives in the media. A Dame, Jimmy, and Bam Big Three is absolutely going to the NBA Finals once again. Kristaps Porzingis joining Boston is a good move, but until they get a real point guard, I'm not going to take them seriously because I don't trust Derek White, Malcolm Brogdon, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum handling the ball. The front court scoring and defense from Porzingis is solid for them, sure, but I'm not believing anything in them winning a title unless they have a true point guard. Another team to look out for is the Milwaukee Bucks, and sure, they'll come back with a vengeance, a fully healthy Chris Middleton. Giannis obviously got hurt in that series against Miami. You're going to have to assume he's going to be healthy in the postseason. And then Jrue Holiday, that is a very solid squad as well, but now the Heat match up with them perfectly because who is Jrue Holiday going to guard? He couldn't hold Jimmy Butler in that first round of the playoffs, so who is he going to guard? Is he going to guard Dame or is he going to guard Jimmy? And whoever he doesn't guard, it's cooking season in the playoffs. So with Dame, Jimmy, and Bam, Big Three is so damn good because you got Jimmy's two-way ability at the wing and his ability to take over in the postseason, be the best player on the court at all times. You've got Dame's ability to drop 30 points per night and shoot from 35 feet and extend the defense. And then you've got Bam's defense, you got his rebounding and his finishing ability. And the pick and rolls between Dame and Bam would be life-changing. It would move mountains. I'm telling you right now, I know the Nuggets are going to be the favorites next year. I don't give a flying shit. If the Heat get Damian Lillard, they should be the NBA Finals favorites. They were just there this past season, and you add a top 5 point guard, a top 20 player in the league, someone who just averaged 32 points per game, you're going to be a title favorite. That's going to do it for today's video. I appreciate everyone who sent in questions. Couldn't get to all of them, but we will do more types of videos like this in the future. So when I ask for you guys to send in your best Miami questions, please do so because you could get featured on a show. So hit that sub button because we are going to be here throughout the next week or two and honestly for the next 6-7 months throughout the NBA season, breaking down the latest around your Miami Heat, Damian Lillard trade rumors, and more free agent rumors for your Heat. So make sure you hit that sub button and join the Heat Report. Appreciate you guys for watching. Go Heat.